So Omar, what do you got? What do you got? Where are we going with this? Are you guys want to do like a full episode by episode breakdown, or just talk about different parts of the episode of the shows that we like, of the show that we
This
like?
Different
is
parts of the show.
yeah,
Just
different
Yeah,
parts of the
let's do
show.
that.
Ben,
All
you
right.
want to take this one?
All right. So where to start with this? Let's start with the
There's
first
so
episode.
many points.
Let's just start with the first episode. I like how they introduced the first episode. Fuck,
With the
I
intro?
forgot how, yeah, not
Yeah.
like that.
Matt's gonna reach to the computer, just like slam my head against the screen.
Before his
All right,
name.
it's been a couple weeks since
Matt,
I watched
like
the
in
show.
Daredevil. Give me your hand. Give me your hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna Frank Castle you.
All right, sorry about that. Go.
All right, so in the first episode, at the beginning before that intro song, I like how there's this team going in to steal this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you meet the
White Rabbit.
the White Rabbit, who's the antagonist for the
Mhm.
whole show,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love how he goes on this monologue, and then
It's a
he
good
just
monologue too, by
Yeah,
the
it
way.
was.
he goes on this monologue, and then he just fucking butchers these guys.
I like the fact that it was him who
I-
hired them, though.
Yes.
He did
The
hire
irony.
them.
Yeah, the
I, was-
irony behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
love
how much
that.
you got paid because I'm the one who said it.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, I love that. And
Mhm,
it was such a great opening.
mhm.
And then I hear roll in, a roll out. I'm like, ruined. Anyways. and then you meet Dante. He's doing his thing. And then he hears, isn't it in the first episode when you come across Plasma and Plasma's a baby?
Yeah.
Yep.
Plasma's
Yeah.
the baby. Yeah.
I like how that shit goes down. Like this lady, she's walking along, and then her baby gets stolen, and she finds her baby down the alley, and then she starts being chased by Plasma.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
she's chased by
Yeah,
lesser demons
Plasma
Yeah.
was, disguised as the baby.
as a baby. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was
And
trying to
then-
steal Dante's necklace.
Yep.
And Dante's like, "Oh, I'll help you, lady," and then he starts fighting with the baby,
Yeah.
and the lady's
Yeah.
like, "You asshole!"
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like leave my baby alone. That's not a baby, lady.
Yeah. Not your baby.
No, I mean that scene was like funny, and at the same time was like, wait a minute. So Plasma killed that baby, didn't he?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, because
No,
plasma
they had
needs
to
a
be
living
kept
specimen
alive.
in order to replicate them.
Yeah, but they
Yeah.
never say what
That's
happened to the
gripe
baby
he
though.
has
Maybe
with
the
this-
baby
that
was
whole
placed in the freaking.
I hope he
hospital.
returned the baby, because in this one they kind of humanized Plasma a little bit, because he wasn't straight up evil.
No, he knew how to like work things.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he was he was one of my favorite characters in this show, because not only was he a good antagonist, because he got in there and he was able to infiltrate, but
Mhm.
the scene, and you know what, we'll get into that in a little bit because it goes further into the
I
show,
loved
but
how he tricked the lady.
yes,
Mhm.
he tricked her good too,
Oh yeah.
because ladies usually very, and even the
Intuitive.
episode,
Perspective.
yeah, her perception of who's a demon is really
Mhm.
well. And there's even a scene in an episode where they show that, because she's like the smell, their proportions,
Mhm.
and she immediately was able to spot one and killed it.
Mhm.
But in this one, Plasma was like,
Mhm.
"You don't know who I am."
But then you also got to remember that at that like right before she met up with Plasma disguised as her ally,
Mhm.
her morals were shaken by the demon family, the
Oh,
demon
yeah.
refugee family.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean
And
that
so she hesitated.
that
Oh, and she was
particular.
also gassed too. Remember?
That's true, by a kid now, or
But
whatever.
Yeah.
even before that,
She was definitely rattled.
no, but on the
Yeah,
bridge,
'cause-
that bridge scene, she
Mhm.
tosses Plasmid a gun.
That's true. I forgot about that. I mean, that whole those first 3 episodes were a really good way to set up the franchise, I
Yeah.
guess you can call it.
Mhm.
But-
Simply because, one, we get introductory to White Rabbit.
Mhm.
Two, we get a synopsis of what's going on in the government office, where this professor basically explains in a very scientific and
Yes.
very realistic way on how the demon world is parallel to our world
I
and
agree.
these rifts. And he even used an actual scientific term called Rosenberg bridges, and how they use these portals and rifts to come in between our worlds,
Yeah, and
except for
how
the bigger ones who apparently can't get through the
small
smaller
this
ones.
I
yeah,
mean, that's the cool thing about science fiction. They take the science and put it into the fiction.
Yeah, but there's so
Mhm.
the gravity of the realism to it is there, which is really cool if you think about it.
It's done.
Yeah, let's hope there's no parallel dimensions overlapping us.
Oh no, there's 100%. But the other thing I liked was just like, dude, Kevin Conroy in this show was so scary.
Yes.
It was so scary hearing him the way he
Okay,
talked.
speaking of Kevin Conroy and him being a zealot,
He was a
Oh
zealot.
yeah.
He was, yes, he was.
I love that because I'm so used to him being Batman. It was great hearing him be something else, play
Yes.
a different character, and still brought that same level of excellence that he has crafted over the
Because he was
years.
talking like Batman the entire time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's just his natural voice. But like,
Yes.
think about Steve Bloom. I was watching Avengers Assemble, and like Steve Bloom fucking pops up like 20 times in that fucking show.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
voices Wolverine. He voices some Asgardian. He
Yeah.
voices some sort of alien. Like,
Yeah.
but when you hear him, you know
Yes.
exactly who it is. And
Yeah,
so
you know it's Steve
it's the
Bloom.
Yes.
same with Kevin Conroy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The second you hear that voice, you know it's
Yeah,
Batman.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
yes. But here's the thing, like he did so well with that character that even myself, even though I like him, like it made me dislike him. But at the same time, you're like, but I like him too. But you dislike him. So it's kind of conflicting.
I don't like him because of like how extreme he is, but you
Yeah.
can understand his concern and wanting to
yes.
protect
Yes.
humanity.
I really
And,
want
like-
to know his backstory. Like, what's
Yeah,
why
because
Yes.
is he
this is a
zealot?
brand new character.
Mhm.
He has nothing
Yeah.
to do with the franchise.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and it's like he's introduced and knows all this shit about demons and things like that.
Yeah.
Well, where the president's just a fucking idiot.
Yes.
He really is. Dude, I like the scene where they're in the room and then the president goes like, man, I already have to deal with the Ouroboros. Now I have to deal with this. Another Resident Evil callback. Like,
But just
No,
goes to show you that like the president isn't really running crap.
yeah,
It's other
dude, this was
people doing
such a
this.
Dick Cheney thing because he's the vice president, and it's funny because in that
Yeah.
in that scene, everybody's looking at the
It's-
president like, "What do we do?" And then
Dude,
he's just
it's
he
real
straight up just
funny
says,
that you
"Just
brought
listen
that
to him."
up.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
just listen to that guy.
The series supposed to take place in like around 2001 era.
Yeah, it's in the early 2000s.
Because I
That's when
saw
the first game came out. That's why.
That's basically why they had the dynamic because everybody knows Cheney was
Oh,
running the country when
course.
Bush was in office,
There's even
Yeah.
a documentary
Yeah.
about it, or a movie
Yeah.
about it.
and a movie.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
Ed, did you even realize they blatantly made the freaking president a goddamn cowboy?
Yeah. Yeah, straight
they
up,
did that on purpose.
Yeah.
like an idiot
Okay.
cowboy too, which is even worse.
No, I just find it really funny that Ed brought up Dick Cheney because I was going through YouTube and I saw this video where someone's like, "Oh, they're trying to buy alcohol," and they're like, how old are you?" He's like, "Dick Cheney's the president." He's like, "Oh, okay, sir," and it's because kids nowadays, if they're underage, they're not going to get that reference.
No, they're not. They're not gonna get that reference. But what's some episode or season, certain episodes you like, Omar?
A lot of it has to go with the first episode because how they made that huge ass Devil May Cry reference in it.
Right?
Matt, you know the scene, right?
Uh-huh.
Vaguely,
The
like I
dance
said,
scene.
right?
The dance, yeah.
Ah, Raven Dante.
Yeah.
And also Devil May Cry 5 when he puts on the hat.
Exactly.
No, but like one of the things I really did like was that not only did they do the references of other Capcom series, but they reference itself. Like they reference the Devil May Cry series.
The
itself,
game, yeah.
Like, the games, like, but again, the Devil May Cry reference I said, the Lucia cameo. from Devil May
You
Cry
saw it?
2.
You saw it,
Yeah.
Omar?
It came out twice.
When they're capturing the
The,
hunters.
the demon hunter,
Yes.
and when they're interrogating her.
I had to pause that scene and rewind it because I'm like, why does this chick look familiar?
That's
Because she's
Lucia.
from DMC too.
And
Yeah.
I was like, oh snap, I think that's Lucia. And then,
And then at the
somebody on Reddit said that the guy they caught was Constantine. There was a guy that was also Constantine. I don't know. I don't know.
It might have been like a different type of Constantine, but that's Hellblazer has nothing to do with Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
They've never crossed or made any reference
allusions
to that.
No.
Gotcha.
Another cameo that people, that gamers sort of expected was, I forgot his name, but he's the final boss in Devil May Cry 2.
I know who you're talking about, Omar.
Oh,
the guy who becomes Argosax at the end.
Like that. That guy.
I can't tell you because I've only played that game once because
I think everybody's only
Matt,
played
it's
that
the
one
guy
once.
in the white business suit with the maroon.
Right, that douchewagon.
Yeah.
That was definitely.
He's probably gonna be like the big boss of season 2, and if they turn him into Mundus rather than the actual demon that he becomes into, I'll be okay with it.
That makes sense. That would actually make sense. Yeah.
But I mean, he this guy is a corporate mogul, so he's probably like, he's human, but he absorbs the powers of a devil, I believe. Because when you play Devil May Cry 2 once again.
I think everybody's only ever played that.
Yeah, we were so excited for it after 1. And we're like, what the fuck is this? And then we got 3. I'm like, yay, never looked back.
No, but again, like all the self-references in the game, in the series that came out were...
Oh, yeah. One of my favorite references to one of the games was... Oh, shoot. In the scene where they're trying to capture him. And this is from the game too, Omar. So in the scene, he knocks down a pool table, and then he has all the balls launched to hit the cronies. They did it a little different.
Oh, like a Devil May Cry 3.
Because in 3, he shoots the ball and then shoots the balls like he hits it like a pool cue, and then it shoots them out. But in this one, he just throws them at him, and they all hit the different cronies. I thought that was really
shooting
cool.
At?
That scene was so hilarious. That scene was so funny.
Well, the funniest part about that is that one dude, like that big old bro type guy.
His former like mercenary comrade or whatever.
Yes, I forgot his name. Yeah, that they work together.
Hey, Dante, how's it going? Oh, hey. Dante took it easy on it, all right?
Yeah, he did.
He only knocked him out a little bit.
With his left.
Yes.
I like the fact that before that scene, when they're doing a breakdown of who he is, they said that he just got bored.
Yeah.
And stopped.
Oh, freaking Dante's dossier, why he stopped missions.
His dossier, there you go.
Yeah,
but I like the fact
bored,
I like the fact that big crony guy's like, I've worked with that guy. I'm not going after that guy. It's like, how about if we double the bounty? He's like, all right.
He's like, okay.
And I like the fact that he tries to sucker punch Dante, and Dante's like, come on, dude. Come on.
It's probably a thing for between the two of them.
See, the thing about Dante's like, even though he knows it's a trap, he'll still trigger it because he knows like he's gonna get over it. He's gonna get past.
He's gonna get out of it no matter what.
Yeah, he's
looking for entertainment.
He's one punch man, but with a lighter humor, because there's very little things that can take him down or even hurt him that badly. And even in his weakened state,
blown off.
Yeah, he did get his head blown off. Even in his weakened state, like the people that were complaining about it, he was still just like, he was shrugging off stab wounds and getting shot left and right, and getting electrocuted.
Well, it's actually like a running gag in the series that Dante gets stabbed by a sword in every game at least.
Well,
once.
Yeah, I mean,
like in a cutscene.
Yeah, including his own.
Exactly.
His own.
In 3? Oh, no,
he pinned him against the wall. No, in 3. Was it the first one or
it was 4? It was 4, Matt. Nero punches him and then throws him against the wall, then throws Rebellion right at it and impales him up against the statue.
But Omar, I know there's an older one where Dante was impaled by Rebellion as well.
Damn, how many times has he been impaled?
A lot.
Like I said, once and canonically once in every game.
And then there's also the one where he has all the hooks.
That's in 3.
Stuck all over him. The size.
Yeah, that's the opening scene of 3.
Just goes to show you that like if they do a little more of that in the show, it'll be that much funnier.
I think that's what
Right.
they're planning to do. But Matt, I think what you're talking about is in Devil May Cry 3 when Virgil stabs Dante with rebellion. That's how he gets his
Right.
double trigger awakened. Because
Yes.
even the sword itself changed in when he got stabbed. Because
Mhm.
the hilt or the handle,
It's close.
and the pommel was at a point. But when Devil
Yeah.
got activated, the eyes on the skulls on either side opened up. The handle guard opened up, and then the pommel was bloomed into like a spiked flower-looking thing.
Mhm.
Like a beautiful little flower. Let's talk
Also,
about
during that one scene, I just want to point out, I loved how they played Raise Against the Machine
yeah,
for that whole fight. That
was
shit
fun.
was great.
Did you see the name of this the record on it though?
Yeah, it was oh my god.
Something against the device.
Yeah, Rage Against
Yeah.
the Device or something like that because they couldn't use the actual title.
No,
Yeah.
but it was a
Well,
Yeah,
it was Bullets on Parade.
exactly, basically.
but they couldn't use the name of the band for copyright reasons, so they just threw a little fucking throwaway right there.
Exactly. But
And
let's talk about a little bit of some of the episodes. What's one episode that you guys really liked?
aside from Ladies Exposition one with no dialogue.
Episode 6? Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a great
Um,
episode.
I know you guys want to get into that one because that
Let's
was a
let's
great
let's
episode.
let's get into
Okay.
that one in a little bit.
Yeah,
But one episode that you guys kind of really liked, or certain that had certain parts of the scenes that you really liked.
Okay, the one episode I really liked is when Plasma goes after Dante again.
Mm-hmm.
And like Dante's sitting there eating his strawberry sundae,
Yeah, he is.
like he
and
always does.
he comes in looking like Virgil.
Yes, and then you
Mhm.
hear
The
Bury the Light.
Bury the Light start to play. I was like, wait, they're already introducing Virgil? And then it turns out it's Plasmid.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it Plasmid? Plasma?
It is plasma. Yeah,
Plasma? Plasma,
Yeah.
right?
plasma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm pretty sure and in that same episode, I'm pretty sure Dante is on the motorcycle driving through traffic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
And then they reference Devil May Cry 5.
Yeah.
Where he takes the motorcycle, beats
Yeah, and
the
he
shit
uses that
out
as
of
a
one
weapon.
demon.
Yep.
Yes.
As Cavalier.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That
that's when he
scene
gets his
also
head
has a
blown
really
off.
good reference to when he gets Agnes and what's his name's swords and combines them.
Oh yeah, the freaking Twister.
Yeah. That scene was cool.
That's one thing I didn't exactly like. Is that Dante is a master of weapons, and hopefully they do this in season 2. Is that because they did this in the first couple of games? Is that Dante's devil trigger would change based on the weapon he was holding?
Mm-hmm.
No, they only did that in 3.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Like
Yeah.
if he had Cerebrus or Beowulf or
No, but
It
in
re-
Devil May Cry 4 and 5, he's always had this, like his devil trigger never changed.
And I think canonically the reason why they did that is just because he's just such a badass. He's master with all weapons. He
Pretty
doesn't
much,
need-
yeah.
His devil trigger form didn't need to change, unlike 3, where he's still young and learning his devil trigger.
Yeah.
That could be.
So, I
could be
think
fun.
that's like canonically the reason, but it's a shitty reason. I want him to put it back in the games. It'll be fucking cool. And I would love to see that in the show. And speaking of his devil trigger, I love how they introduced his devil trigger.
Yeah,
He's like, I can fly.
The song was awesome too, and I like how the cape, his wings wrap around him to make a pseudo trench coat.
Yeah,
that was cool. And
That's
I
one
even
thing
like that
always-
they left his white hair on this time.
No, they always do that.
Yeah.
Really? I could have sworn he has the whole horn head thing.
No, like he's always got like some kind of silver patch on his head or something that is either actual hair or like scales that make it look like hair.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay. I could have sworn
And
he
the
always
horns
had the
just
full
wrap around
horns.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
But-
he and Virgil are the same. Like they have the horns, but they always have that white spot in the middle.
But I do like the fact that like he wraps his wings around him like a trench coat. That was really cool.
That's a good like gargoyles-esque reference.
Mm-hmm. It really was. I mean, because in the other ones, he doesn't really do that. He like his wings stay open all the time. But this one, I like the fact that he wraps them around. What's one episode you like, Jen, or that really stood out to you?
It's the one we all want to talk about.
Besides that one, we're all
Besides
gonna
that one?
talk about that in a minute. But besides that, that episode was so good. I hope it wins an
really
award.
was
I hope
really
it wins some
good.
kind of award. That's because just how
Um,
good it was.
I think the other one is called well, like Lady Story was good. It's just oh yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's something I want to talk about that and I want to make reference
Yeah.
to.
Let,
So,
let me let Jen finish what she wants, and then we'll go from there. What was the episode, Jen?
When it's called All Hope Abandoned.
Oh yeah, I remember
Which
that
episode
one.
was that?
So this is the one where she goes into the apartment complex, and her whole team gets slaughtered.
Yes.
And
Oh, so like the third or second to last
that was like
episode?
the fourth episode, I think.
It's the fifth.
I think it's
the
the
fourth.
No, I think it was the fourth.
It's the fourth. Yes.
Regardless,
no, it's not. Wait, All Hope Abandoned. Yes, number 4.
So, what'd you like about it though? What'd you like about that episode? Because it was a good episode, by the way.
Yeah, the whole thing that she barely like. She figures like, oh, like all her team got slaughtered,
and it was her fault. By
and
the
it
way.
was she takes it that it is her fault because
no, it is her fault. She was the one who told. She was given an order not to pursue it, and she pursued it.
Yes. And by that moment, you start seeing her descendants like, maybe what I'm doing is, maybe I'm not doing the right thing or something, like it's coming into question.
Yeah.
Like her leadership abilities.
Her leadership abilities. Part of the reason, though, is that there's one particular scene where she's trying to hide out from Kidna, or was it Plasma? I forgot who she's hiding from, but she's trying to hide from someone, and a family brings her in the house. And keep in mind, Cavalier.
Yeah, it's the Cavalier,
this time,
right?
yeah, you're right. At this time, she's still gassed, so a lot of the things that she's seeing is like scarecrow toxin, right?
Yes.
So the family that takes her in are demons.
Yes.
And when she sees that they're demons, she immediately tries to like turn on them. When the reality is that these people are being oppressed just as badly as her human counterparts were, except they don't have a choice because they have nowhere else to go. And the thing about Lady is that her whole persona is this person who kills demons. So when she sees these lesser demons who are not only victims themselves, but they help her, it kind of flips her world upside down. And that entire scene just made me think like,
because it's not as black and white
as it's not as black and white. Exactly.
Yeah, like with the vice president making her think it is.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean the scene that follows up to that though. Oh my goodness. Even just
you're talking about towards the end of the episode.
Yes, dude. When
that was fucked up.
Dude, okay, so again, folks, spoiler alert. Lady basically says, I will grant you guys shelter when my team arrives. And she sticks to it. But then Bane says, like, no, these are demons. They need to be killed. And sadly, they follow orders and they do just that. And I just remember thinking,
the guy that was given the order hesitated.
I would have too. I would not have followed orders, despite of what they are or who they are. Man, it's like if your enemy is waving the white flag or is defenseless, maybe show some mercy, regardless of who or what it is.
Yes.
But that's my mentality.
Yeah, you don't ever kick someone when they're down.
Exactly.
If they're fighting each other, then yeah, that's one thing. But like you said, they were unarmed.
And this is one new aspect of the game. I mean, of the show that isn't really reminiscent in the game, because every demon in the game wants to kill you.
Yes,
pretty much.
But this episode was like a bit of a gut punch, because like the sad reality is that really does happen, especially in war. But yeah, definitely a good episode. Episode 4, definitely one of those episodes that will make you question. Like even she starts to question her loyalty.
Yes. I will say, I think it's episode 3 where they're on the bridge. I just love that whole fight scene, especially because Dante is going after the rabbit, and then the
Mhm.
rabbit shoots an RPG at a bus full of kids. And the speed that Dante moves to stop that missile was just so impressive. And
Well,
I hope,
that's Dante, dude.
but
At
also it's
at,
like
at full
really
strength,
cool when you see
at
someone
full strength, he would have
like
gotten
move
there
like that.
sooner. Yeah, at full strength, he would have gotten there sooner. Probably deflected it back at the White Rabbit. The scene that I also like in that is that he's basically trying to have him trigger the double trigger, and he's getting so close to it, and then Lady blows him up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What
His
Love
head
it.
blows up.
what episode was it? The same episode where they're in a plane
No, that's episode 5.
and okay, and then
Yeah.
and I like that scene where it blows up and then he's like catching trying to
Very
save
reminiscent to Iron Man, by the way.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Very
saving
reminiscent to
everybody.
Iron Man.
And then I just like the way that freaking what was Kevin Conroy's character in that?
Baines.
He said, "Oh
Baines.
yeah, babe."
He's
But he's
praying
like,
the entire time.
yeah, and then he said, like, "See, I told you, that God was gonna have someone save us."
And that's the worst thing
I
about
was
zealots,
like, "Oh
man.
my
That sometimes they can back up their claims. Because even he told Agni, it's like,
Mhm.
I will not die here. God has a
Yes.
bigger plan for me.
yeah."
Pretty much. He was
I'm like,
ballsy with the
with
demons.
very like so much conviction, like just
yeah,
I
and
was
he's
like,
praying the entire time they're falling, by the way.
yeah,
Like he's not even
yes,
flinching.
yeah. And then he said, like, I told you, yeah, like,
That's the worst part though, man. It's like, see what I say? God's on my side.
All right. So one thing that I want to point out that I'm
Oh
pretty
my
sure
God.
not many people caught or realized is that the titles of each episode are references to Dante Alighieri's divine comedy, the Dante's Inferno,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which
Oh,
Yeah.
all hope abandoned is inscribed in the sign on one of the
right.
Then
and then
there's
like
descent,
the descent,
the first
Inferno,
circle,
obviously. The first circle is the first circle of hell.
all gates of paradise,
Yep.
and a
Our
river
Lady
of
of
blood and fire.
Sorrows.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
Deep and Savage Way. These are all either like references either for like titles or places inside the 9 realms of hell or
Mhm.
like quotes from the speaker or whoever is like quotes from the book itself.
I will
Exactly.
say that many people probably didn't catch that because they're not obsessed with that epic poem like you are.
I'm not obsessed with it. I just realized. Oh, I just noticed it because Don't Make Cry as a whole, especially in 3, is inspired by Dante's Inferno.
That's true.
Yeah,
Like
that's
the
part
way
of the
he
reason
moved
he
through
was
that
named Dante.
tower.
Yeah, because Dante is obviously Dante. He's exploring the realms of hell to the
Exactly.
demon world, and then Virgil is a guide in the poem, and Virgil, his twin brother, is guiding him. And then Beatrice is supposed to be Lady because she's supposed to be like the human aspect of the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one of the things that one of the scenes that I liked was obviously one of the final scenes, the final scene of the series, or the season.
Which one?
When Virgil fucking comes out and
Oh yeah.
slaughters everybody to free
What
the
move
demons
is that?
captured.
What attack does he use?
That was the Judgment Cut end.
Yes, the judgment cut. Yeah. And then you hear the music playing in the
Yup.
background. I like the fact that he says like, "I am that storm."
Yeah, even
Yeah.
the creator of the song, Casey Edwards, he was like astonished and honored that his lyrics were used as actual dialogue in the series. He even posted it on his stories on
He
Instagram.
geeked out. He geeked out about it.
I would
mean,
too.
who wouldn't?
I
Who
would too.
wouldn't?
That's
Yeah.
like a huge honor right there.
Yeah, and it's funny because, dude, the day that episode, everybody watched that episode. If you went on IG, YouTube, TikTok, nothing but "I am the storm that is approaching," and all you see is Dante clips. I mean, Virgil clips.
Well, I mean, it is an epic song. It's fucking.
I
Exactly.
mean,
No, it is an epic
Come
song.
on. Come on, dude. Like the Virgil fanboys, we're
Dude,
strong,
they're-
okay?
No, he got way more
Aren't-
fanboys after that because, dude, I swear it's like everybody picked up that game after that and just started busting out Virgil clips once that show aired.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah.
insane. Just like all you saw was like, "I am fantastic."
I still have that
One
in
thing-
my phone somewhere.
One thing
get that.
I really like talking about towards the end of the season is the way Dante beat the Cavalier Knight. So how does this thing work? And he just kicks it, and the portal just just cuts the
Decapitation.
Cavalier. He cuts him up into many pieces.
Yeah.
And then he's
Keep
like,
in mind,
oh,
keep
that's
in
kind
mind,
of faulty.
yeah, keep in mind Dante's also like fighting with with the inability to breathe because he's in the demon world.
Well, it's
So
not with the inability. He purposely held his breath because like how toxic, and he's just not
mhm.
used to it. I
Yeah.
mean, he's
I
still
like that aspect too of this one that they develop the demon world like you were saying, Omar. They develop them more, and the fact that there's people there who are also suffering as much as like
a
well
human would.
the human would, yeah. And I guess part of the reason that White Rabbit, spoiler, he's the one who's causing these rifts, was doing that was because he was trying to save these people,
Yeah.
and
All
we'll
right.
get into that in a little bit.
One thing is that in this series, White Rabbit was human.
Yeah, he was human.
But he's based off an actual character in the Devil May Cry 3 prequel manga,
Mhm.
who's also called White Rabbit. But he's an actual demon.
Yeah.
He's an actual demon, and he's the one who told Dante that his brother Virgil was alive.
Exactly.
So that's why at the start of the game in 3, he's not surprised that Virgil sent information.
Yeah, White Rabbit was definitely, dude, he is such a good character, man.
Yes,
Not just
he
because
is.
of his the way he presents himself.
Mhm.
When you see the reason why he is the way he is, and by the way, it's all ladies' fault.
Yes.
Honestly, it's all kind of justified, but I mean, he did go to the extreme.
Yeah, he did
I
go to the
mean,
extreme.
that's just what pushed him over the edge
Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
go into that dark.
Do you guys just want to talk about that episode?
Yeah, let's get into episode 6.
Wait,
So,
Because that episode explains.
I gotta
hang
hurry
on,
up and do
guys, hang on,
shit,
guys. Hang on, Jen has something to say.
Okay, so before we get there, I like there's a particular scene I like in episode 2, which is called Our Lady of Sorrows,
Mhm.
and it's when Dante and Lady are facing off
Uh-huh.
to get the amulet,
Uh-huh.
and then she's like, and then she pretty much telling Lena, I can smell a demon, and I know what demons like that. And then she rips his shirt off.
Well, it wasn't Dante. It was one of the
Yeah.
guys that was trying to infiltrate. It was like a scarab or something.
No, it's Dante.
No.
Yeah, it's Dante. Look.
Yeah, it's
right
Dante.
there. It's Dante.
Oh, right. Okay, never mind.
He's like, and so she's basically telling me you're probably demon, and so to make sure that if he doesn't, he rips. He's like, hey, he said like, I know I'm handsome and all this stuff. He said, but you can't be tearing off people's clothes.
I like the fact that Dante is always like flirting with somebody.
And then magically the next scene, he has a brand new shirt after he gets captured. So they just buy him
which
a new
makes
shirt.
no sense to me, but whatever.
And it's
Honestly,
not even
I
the same
thought
color. It's black.
honestly after that scene, I thought like, well, because Dante's style is like just a trench coat with no shirt.
Mhm.
So
That
I
was in
felt
3
like,
only.
I feel like that should have been like that, but I guess they said no, let's have him wear a shirt.
Well, no, because that was just a reference to his attire in Devil May Cry 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
His attire in Devil May Cry 1, he had that black turtleneck with the red vest and trench coat.
I remember.
And then in 4, he had a like cowboy type outfit with the duster.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for those cowboy boots to pop up.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah.
I was like, when I saw those, I'm
He
like,
needs to
those
do
are
a dance for that,
ass-kicking
too.
Boots.
Nope.
These boots were meant for walking. All right,
No,
so
those boots are made for ass whooping.
so one episode, folks, we keep talking
Really?
about is the 6th episode in the season. It's called The First Circle. Part of the reason we keep
Mhm.
talking about it is because not only was it a fantastic episode,
Comes
but it
full
had
circle.
probably the best music in the entire season.
Oh yeah.
in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
I have opinions.
Yes.
So
well,
let me do a
well,
quick synopsis of the
okay,
episode.
do it.
Mhm.
So basically, in this episode, we get to see a backstory of the White Rabbit and Lady, and basically how they parallel each other, and basically how they know each other without them knowing that they know each other.
Mhm.
Well, Lady doesn't know that they know each other, but White Rabbit knows that they know each other.
Mhm.
Part of the reason is because
You know that they know that he knows that she knows that they don't know.
Yeah,
and
because
basically,
it's more memorable.
and basically, we see how the impact of their lives were affected by demons, whereas one decided to try to help some of them, White Rabbit.
Mhm.
Lady decided to, because of the hatred she developed because her
So,
father
yeah.
turned into a demon,
Killed her
she
mother.
decided to start killing them.
Mhm.
So
Let me see those two
that's what the
barrels.
episode basically entails them. You see their ordeals, how they're struggling, how they're growing up. But the entire episode has maybe 4 sentences of dialogue. which
It has
to me,
no. It has no
at the end
dialogue
there's
in it.
dialogue. There's dialogue at the end.
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. You're very
So
right.
Mhm.
the entire episode is just like one long ass music video, and it was phenomenal, dude.
Mhm.
I hope this episode wins an award because just that's
Okay,
just how good it was.
Yes.
So let's get
I
into it and talk about what we liked about it, what some of the songs that we liked and whatnot.
okay.
Omar, why don't you guys kind of take point on this one? And
Honestly, I
then,
really shouldn't, since you guys all liked it more than I actually did.
really,
Mhm.
you didn't like it that much?
No, I mean, I'm not saying that it wasn't great or anything, but it was not like my favorite episode. It wasn't like
It's not what wowed him.
Nah,
very
okay.
much.
All right, but what did you like about it?
I did like that. It felt like kind of like an opera sort of,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like how it was hardly any dialogue, but you still saw all the emotions conveyed through the faces, the
mm-hmm.
stills,
The music.
yeah, the music,
Oh yeah,
especially how it swells and crescendos.
even the
Yes.
art
But
style.
but what I really liked is that they use two different animation styles to tell
Mhm.
two different points of view. So that way you weren't confused as to what you were seeing for what side, and also fit with the more realistic style of Mary's backstory being in the real world, where it's
Exactly.
like there's solid lines, straight lines, and stuff like that. Whereas with in the other side, it's all cartoony and everything, but it's supposed to depict the demon world that doesn't really make sense. So just
Exactly.
don't let it make sense.
Yeah. Plus, to a kid, certain things might seem different at the time.
Yeah,
Because
and that
you
kid,
remember
that
things
kid
differently.
was that kid was heavily abused. He was in a like what a
Foster home.
orphan, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he was in a foster home.
Mhm.
So like maybe this like he saw that this demon world, despite how bad it was at first, it was something new, it was something whimsical, something akin to freedom, because he could actually be himself. He had people who cared about him finally, a family.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he basically did have family.
Well, he basically escaped the shitty life he was living.
Yeah, just goes to show you that like sometimes some what's the whole thing, like beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though I'm guessing the demon realm is a horrible place, White Rabbit, the guy was able to see certain beauty in it, whether it was through the people he interacted with, or even some of the sceneries that work. Because you see a lot of the demon world even though it's desolate and empty and cold, there's some parts of it that kind of don't look that bad, and there's even parts where some of these lesser demons live.
But
So
you see them just trying to survive,
basically,
you
yeah,
know, and coming together to try to survive.
yeah,
Basically, what it did was it humanized the demons and demonized the humans.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember an episode of Supernatural, Matt, where the girl, you remember that girl demon that helps them remake the gun that can kill demons?
You mean Ruby?
You remember Ruby? You remember how she
Yeah.
said you remember how she was telling Dean that hell is just as bad for the demons that it is for humans,
Uh-huh.
that they're also tortured themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, so that to me was this episode was that episode was very reminiscent to that episode, because yeah, it could be that could be the truth.
Mm-hmm.
There could be
Until
Yeah,
truth in
Dean kills Ruby. Kills
I
the
know.
fuck out of her.
I know. But what was your take on that episode, Matt?
Okay, so aside from everything that Omar said about the music and the faces and conveying the emotions, I I like how there was no dialogue until the end, just
Mm-hmm.
because it's a unique form of storytelling that you don't see too often.
Oh yeah.
And it's really nice to see that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I pretty much like about it. There's a lot of the musical aspects I did like. Um,
Mm-hmm.
fucking until like Evanescence song, but
You don't like that song?
I like Amy Lee. I think
Mm-hmm.
she's a great vocalist, but I think her band she's in holds her back. I think she's above and beyond that band, what that band is capable of.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been my problem with Evanescence, is that Amy Lee is a great singer, is just the rest of the band is lackluster in comparison to her. She definitely deserves better, in my opinion. I feel like I know they're like kind of a big band and stuff like that, and they do have a following and stuff, but I think she could have more. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, she
And so
herself wrote this song for the show.
yeah, which is great, and that shows like and that's what exactly what I'm talking about with her skill as a songwriter and
Hmm.
her and the way she can sing. Like she
Hmm.
is a great singer, and I love Amy Lee. It's just I don't like the band, so I like the music. Like the band kind of kills it for me, and it's like
Mm.
Yeah.
I got something good here, but I gotta
Mhm.
listen to this other shit that's with it.
That's attached to it.
No, well, I
Yeah,
like that whole episode. The songs, including one in particular. Oh, what was it called? Yeah.
but one thing I did like a lot too, which is how when White Rabbit was when he noticed that when like his own kind was being sick and that they were struggling to survive. I like how it showed him coming up with a way to save all of his clan
Yeah,
pretty
he made a
much.
device.
Yeah, he
The
made a
device to live.
device, and I love how it showed that, like how he was able to make this device, and it felt like it was like pretty primitive stuff he was working with to create a sophisticated device.
Yeah, which he has through the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, gets
And, and
stolen.
it reminded me of Iron Man, where
Uh-huh.
he's like,
Tony
Tony
Stark made him this with a
built
box of
this in a
scrap.
cave.
With a box of scrap.
Yeah, it reminded me
Um,
of that.
yeah, I like his resourcefulness as well. And I did like all the songs, including one in particular called Ghost by Power Glove. I think it's their name.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Gunship, actually,
Mm-hmm.
featuring Power Glove. But one thing that really stuck to me was at the end when it turns out that um, their ladies' first encounter with White Rabbit was when they opened a rift and he was trying to get a couple of his people across because
Refugees.
he
Yes.
was it actually established in that episode that he's trying to help these people get across, and they're demons but they're not hostile demons, and all they wanted to do was
Survive.
survive and live a life of prosperity or just at least peace
Mm-hmm.
anyways, because they definitely couldn't do that in the Demon world. And unfortunately, Lady and her team get wind of this and they corner them and they just slaughter everyone. And the entire time, she finally realizes that the guy doing all this is human.
Mm-hmm.
And even though she realizes it too late, she, I think, is stuck with her. Because then at the end of the season, when he finally reveals himself, it's like, guess who it is? I'm the guy you created. And that gave me such Batman vibes because you know how they say that the Joker says that Batman created him and or vice versa, Joker created the Batman.
Yep.
So and it goes to show you that a lot of the times your biggest adversary could be somebody that you yourself created or that you encountered before.
Yes.
But
That's true. It
mhm,
happens all the time in anime.
that's true, especially in anime.
Well, it's like that scene in True Lies.
Yeah.
Like the point of view.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, he just the guy, the terrorist guy, just wanted them to leave his country alone.
Unoccupied
To the
country.
U.S. to leave them alone.
Yeah. He says you bomb our countries from afar
Mm-hmm.
and yet you call us terrorists. Yeah, it
Yeah.
just goes to show you that sometimes a villain is created, not
Mm-hmm.
just comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, not everyone is Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not everybody just wants to see the world burn.
Some people just want to survive.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that's just that's what it is. It's just they're gonna fight to survive.
Yeah. But regardless, I mean that to me that episode was great. Omar, since this wasn't your favorite episode, what is your favorite episode?
I don't necessarily have a specific favorite because I mean you can't really pick one out without the whole in order to, or else you're gonna end up missing the whole story.
Mm-hmm. But
That's
what's one that really like you really like watching? That like either made you laugh a lot or it was a lot of good references.
I want to say I can't remember what episode it was, but it was the episode right before Dante unlocks the double trigger when they're on the airplane and he's fighting against Agni.
I think that's episode 2. Hang on, I got the episode.
No, that's not episode 2.
No, it's like more like 5 or 7.
You said when he first. Oh, that's the Deep and the Savage Way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're in the airplane fighting and they're just messing around basically.
Basically, yeah.
No, he's fighting Rudra, I think, and then Agni's trying to put the disc into the freaking disc
Yeah.
player.
That part was funny, especially because their arguments, because they have no dialogue in the game, and then seeing
Yeah, they
them
do.
actually talk.
Yeah,
They
they do.
do?
They're always talking to you.
Yeah, that's their thing. They don't shut up.
At
Oh,
all.
okay. I don't
Even when
remember.
Dante acquires them as weapons, he gets mad at them like, "No talking."
Oh, that's right.
And when you're using Agni and Rudra certain moves, you can hear them laughing too.
Okay. But their dynamic was really funny, and I like that they shone a little more light on their characters. You know who it also reminded me of? Matt in Invincible, the clones. That's who they reminded me of.
The Moeller twins.
The Moeller twins, yeah. Because they're like constantly arguing about something, but they still care about each other. Because when Dante kills Agni, his brother gets mad about it.
Yeah, Rudra.
Yeah, and
that's also a nod in the game because if you kill one and let
the other one becomes
die,
way more aggressive.
Yeah, the other one grabs both swords, becomes a little bit stronger and more aggressive in the attacks. So you gotta try and whittle down their health to about the same, so you can kill them one after the other right away.
Yeah, one fell swoop. Yeah, you learn that one the hard way if you the first time you play it.
Oh, yeah. Every single boss in that game has strategy to it. It's not just all cut 'em uppies. You gotta think a little bit of what you're doing.
No, that's true. Yeah, but either way, like, one other particular episode I liked was the one where hang on, let me pull up the episode list real quick. So in the episode where in the end of the episode of the first season where Baines gets the device and basically goes full let's invade this area,
which is fucking stupid,
and they start attacking the demon world with like cruiser missiles and all this other crap, and you hear the music and you hear the American music playing in the background.
Yeah, the fucking American Idiot, that was the top of
yeah
don't want to be an American idiot.
And they basically start harvesting the raw materials there. It's so crazy, dude.
You know what that kind of reminded me of? Doom. You know, like the whole reason why they opened a portal to hell on Mars is because they're trying to harvest a energy source.
Yeah, I remember.
And then like it's pretty much humans fucking around with shit that they don't know anything about. Real. And there's going to be some severe consequences.
Yeah.
And you know who's going to get fucked over? The regular people.
Yeah.
Because the military isn't going to be able to hold a power like that back.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys one thing. How did you feel about Dante getting captured at the end?
I like it.
You okay with that? Okay.
Yeah. Because again, sure, it shows that Mary is still like flawed. Like she's still not completely old. Like
she's still loyal to Baines, basically.
Yeah, she still hasn't broken free from the mind warp, so it gives her character arc more depth. Like her development more chance to grow and like become the lady that we know. It also gives her a better dynamic with Dante as well, because you know how Dante can be forgiving about all that. Or hold a grudge, quote unquote, like just be playful about the whole situation. But
yeah, he can.
It also gives kind of like a good tie-in or like good connection for Dante to get his ebony and ivory pistols from Nell Goldstein.
Yeah,
she's the one in the game universe who creates
the weapons,
the weapons for Dante and for her dad Sparta.
And for Virgil too, right? She make Yamato?
No, nope. That was she only made the human guns, like the human weapons, the pistols.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Rebellion and Yamato have always been demonic weapons.
Oh, that's right. They're their dads. I forgot they're their dads.
Yeah, and they name dropped Nell Goldstein, I think, in the second episode?
Yeah, yes. I think so. Yeah. I like the fact that Dante was just going left like through guns like nothing because he pulled the trigger too hard, so he kept breaking
too hard and too fast. They couldn't compete. That's why he ends up getting
Ebony and Ivory.
because
Mm-hmm.
they can be powered by his demonic power, and they are resistant to his strength.
Yeah, but a lot of fans were pissed about that. By the way, Omar, like on Reddit, there's a lot of people who did not like that ending.
That's because they don't understand that he never had those pistols from
Exactly.
the beginning. They were made for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because a lot of people see what a lot of people wanted. And they say on Reddit, they said that they wanted them to start Devil May Cry right then and there after that,
Mm-mm.
which would kind of make sense, I guess. But at the same time, it's like, you know, with everything that the US is gonna start doing, Dante wouldn't just stand around and let it happen, you know?
No.
Yeah. And also, I would like to see Coyote.
No, his shotgun.
Yeah,
His
his
shotgun,
double
yeah.
barrel that he swings around like a nunchuck and
Yup.
shoots
Yeah,
demons.
that was awesome. That thing's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I really hope we see all his weapons, like Pandora for me would be awesome.
Cerebrus.
Uh-huh.
But
I'm
Friggin-
more into the hand ones, not like Pandora's box. It's
Dude,
a
it can
giant.
turn into
so long as he can get
666
Beowulf,
weapons.
Huh?
Beowulf would be amazing. The green
Beowulf
guy.
would be cool.
Although I would rather see Virgil end up with Beowulf because it's more his than Dante's.
Yeah, because he's the one who defeated Beowulf to get
Exactly,
it. Dante
yeah.
will probably be more with
Well, keep in mind
Balrog or
keep in
Gilgamesh.
mind they've used their
Mhm.
weapons, each other's weapons. Like Dante's used Yamato.
yeah, and
And-
Virgil's used Rebellion.
Yeah, he's used Rebellion. Hell, he's used the guns too when they were fighting against what's his name?
Arkham. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only time in game, like in the game lore, that Virgil has ever used a gun.
Yeah, they do that little Goku Kamehameha style when they shoot the guy.
Yeah, because he
One
doesn't like
thing-
using guns.
No,
And
he
the one
doesn't.
thing I do want to see is I want to see somebody shoot at Virgil, and like how Dante did at the opening scene in Devil May Cry 3, and he just swings his sword and he catches all the bullets and lays them down nicely on the ground.
Oh, you know he's gonna do that, and then he's gonna launch them back at them.
Yes, that shit was awesome.
You know
Yeah.
he's gonna do that. They're not gonna miss the chance to have Virgil do all those cool shit.
There's a lot of stuff that they're probably gonna put from the games into the series, just because it is gonna look so cool when he does it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know? If
But
it
I
looks
think
cool
this
in
is
the
a
game,
good
imagine what it looks like animated.
I think this is a good segue into like what we want to see in season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, because I also had to.
Give me a sec.
So-
Give me a second, because I think Jen. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say something else. Another scene that I thought it was good was, but remember that scene? Like it's in, I think at the end of the episode 8, like during episode 8, where Anders is the mole for
Yeah.
the White Rabbit.
The guy who kept surviving everything.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, did you think that I didn't know that you were,
The mole the
In
entire time.
cahoots? Yeah.
Baines knew the whole time. Yeah.
And then they still
That
killed him, but he
guy.
only did it to
Save his daughter.
daughters.
Mm-hmm. It
And
just
he still
sucks
isn't
because
getting killed. I was like, oh,
that guy, like, he only cared about his family, and he
Yeah.
still ended up dying.
Yeah,
I
he
actually
was-
think he might still be alive though, and part of the reason I think that is because I feel like we might need a new antagonist, and I feel like this is one way to make another antagonist, even if it's like a side boss in the next season.
Oh, come
Wow.
on, Quaid. I got 4 kids to feed.
Basically, yeah.
What happened to number 5?
Yeah, but actually, I like this character because, yeah, the guy was just trying to look out for his family, and he kept I like the fact that White Rabbit even says, like, let's make this convincing, and he stabs him in the
Yeah.
shoulder.
I like the way he talked. He was all
Yes.
gibberish and gibbery and fucking.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
very skittish the entire time, and it's just so funny because one particular scene, he's like, he's the only one that survives the massacre, right? And they bring him, and he's in the hospital bed, and then he himself says that he got himself assigned to the detail, to the team, and as he's walking into the room, he looks like he's still traumatized.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you requested to
guy.
be assigned to this detail? It's like, yes, sir. And then of course you have, every scene that he interacts with White Rabbit, and White Rabbits are like, I have to hurt you so people don't get suspicious.
Yes.
Dude, the scene where White Rabbit kills the professor and the professor throws a grenade at him, but then White Rabbit just closes the gate on him of the
Yeah, no,
armored
what
truck.
he does,
Backward force edge.
yeah, he uses the flat of the blade His
Okay. No,
Mexican
but he
name's
closes the
Backup.
he closes the door of the car too, though.
Like a
Yeah.
baseball.
It's just
Yeah.
one of those scenes like, damn, because he had already stabbed him too, and then just throwing the grenades back at him. That's overkill.
Yeah. And then he
I think he got a double S for that one, Omar. What do you think?
I think so too.
Mhm.
All right, so let's go ahead and go on to what we want to see next season. Matt, you want to go ahead and take this one because it looks like
Okay,
you have
yeah.
a lot that you
I
want to
do.
see.
Well, I think. Well, this is what I think, and this is what I hope is that. Speaking of that episode where he's with Lady and you see her backstory, you see which is something that happens in the game. Fucking
Mhm.
Arkham sits there and it does all kinds of experimentations, and then he becomes a demon himself.
Yeah.
I hope and I do think that he's gonna be amongst the antagonists for season 2.
Oh, most definitely. He kind of
I
has
could
to
be
be.
wrong. I could be wrong. They could save him for season 3 because
Well, they can introduce him in season 2.
yeah, that's true. That's very
Mhm.
key. They can introduce him because what I think like the overall story might be is that they're going to introduce Mundus
Oh,
because
100%. Yeah.
they're in hell. They're fucking around with hell,
And you know he's not
and
going to stand by and just let that happen. Yeah.
so I think like the big bad is going to come forward and be like, "Yo, stop fucking with my realm."
I think
Yeah.
Mundus is gonna be like the big bad in season 3.
Oh yeah, 100%. They
There,
gotta.
that could be too.
He's got to be the main
Well,
boss at one
I,
point.
I think, but we're going to at least see him, or he's going to be heavily hinted at, or he's just going to be straight out introduced.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm predicting. And I hope we get to see more of Virgil in season 2.
Most definitely. What
And
do you
now,
want?
does he and Dante meet up in season 2? I don't know. I kind of hope, but also I think there should be just a season where it's just a story about those two.
Mm-hmm. But is that what you want to see? Is that what you think will happen?
That's what I want to see.
Okay,
I don't want all this side stuff.
Yeah,
like,
exposition and whatnot.
And yeah, and all the to like clutter. I don't like not too much clutter. I just want them to
Yeah,
like,
I feel like
have
if they're straight to the point. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want them to have a season that focuses on Dante and Virgil.
Agreed.
Like use season 2 and perhaps season 3 to flesh out all the other characters and all of the clutter. Maybe they can do it in season 2, and then season 3 we get it's just about Dante and Virgil.
True.
Although,
what about you?
I don't know if they're going to turn Virgil into what does he turn into when he's under Mundus's mind control?
Nello Angelo.
Yeah, Nello Angelo.
He's already Nello Angelo.
Yeah, at the end of it, when he's
right,
when he
the demon form that he takes is Nello Angelo, so he's already brainwashed by
Mundus.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I didn't like is that they had the opportunity to have the corrupted Virgil look in this anime, like with the veins, the pale skin and the veins and red eyes.
But he looks like himself. That's why I was like a little confused. I'm like, wait, is he Nello Angelo or is he just Virgil just hanging out in the demon realm?
But in this case, Virgil can be a puppet, can be brainwashed by Mundus the same way Lady was or Mary was with Baines.
That's true too.
More manipulated than brainwashed.
Yeah.
And then Dante like kind of brings him to his senses, and then that's when the boys
that would make sense.
They team up in season 3. Finally, they defeat Mundus, and then they go on with the rivalry again and probably going their separate ways. Who knows how? Depending on how many seasons they plan.
Yeah. What's something else you want to see, Omar?
Well, aside from more Virgil.
Tell us who your favorite character without telling us.
He has white hair and a blue trench coat and uses a katana.
Anyway, because this has been deemed to be part of the bootleg multiverse by Adi Shankar, which incorporates Castlevania and Captain Laserhawk, and I can't remember what other series on Netflix. I do want to start seeing hints of those separate worlds, and maybe bring like one of the random characters in as a cameo to help connect and solidify, and maybe have that crossover event happen somewhere down the line in future seasons.
Well, something is possible with the Infinite Corridor.
Yeah,
Some
exactly. The
fans
Infinite Corridor from
speculate.
Tasmania.
Some fans speculate that Enzo is the same. Is going to be the same individual that is in Bayonetta because the voice actor who voices Enzo also voices one of the characters in that show.
His
Even
also
his
name is
manner,
Enzo.
yeah, even his mannerism and the way he talks is very reminiscent to the character. So some
I
people are
never
thinking that that's the tie-in between those two right there.
I never played Bayonetta. Was there ever any previous connection between Bayonetta and Dante?
There's
Well,
hints here and there,
the
and
thing
I
is, though,
think in one point they even mentioned Sparta.
Matt, the thing is, I haven't finished Bayonetta, but the creators of Devil May Cry, like some of the producers or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
created the Bayonetta series. At least,
Yeah.
at least the first game, from what I know of.
Oh, okay.
And in one of the cutscenes, the Enzo character in Bayonetta makes reference to a Tony Redgrave,
Oh.
which is Dante's mercenary name, and which is the name that's engraved on ebony and ivory pistols for Tony Redgrave, which was supposed to be Dante's character when it was character's
Resident
name when
Evil.
it was still a Resident Evil follow-up.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's what. So
You got
that's
you
really
got
the only
anything?
connection.
You got anything else you want to see, Omar?
Maybe like more defined like animal or like demonic features on the Dante's demon trigger, devil trigger. Because like some of the criticisms that I heard is from like online is that they made him look like a Ben 10 alien.
I'll give you that. I was actually gonna say.
Does
I was actually gonna say a Power Ranger or a Zurich Ranger, or even a Common Rider.
Yeah, but like no, like maybe give it more like the like demonic intense faces rather than just like a flat face with facial expression.
Yeah, like they did in the game.
More defined.
Yeah.
So a more refined double trigger.
What
Omar,
about you?
I was gonna ask Omar real quick his opinion. Do you think we're going to get Sin Devil Trigger?
Maybe towards the end.
Okay.
Like maybe towards like the final battle with Mundus or something.
What about you, Jen? What's something you would like to see in season 2?
Well, just to reiterate what Omar just said, yeah, I am intrigued about Virgil. I do want to see more of him. I want to see how he survived. And I want to see also, I kind of want to see also more of Sparta. Yeah. Like I want to see how he came in contact with Dante's mom.
Actually, an episode dedicated to their love story would be kind of cool.
I want to see that. Like I'm a sucker for a little side love story.
Yeah. That's actually something I would want to see. I want to see a little more of Sparta, not just as his origin, but in this games, even though Sparta's technically not dead, you never see him. I would like this to be something where the boys finally meet their dad, and maybe even if it's just for like a brief scene or like at the end of the season, maybe in season 3. But I think that would be cool to do for this particular franchise of the game of the franchise.
I'm gonna tell you this one thing: all the fans of Devil May Cry have been wanting a game focusing on Sparta. So the fact that you got that in right away, you're gonna love Devil May Cry.
Well, yeah, because I like just like the main points of him, but you don't know the whole character. You don't know like everything. Like a whole exposition.
Yeah, even that brief little like history lesson that they have on him, how he was slaughtering demons left and right and caused the rift to split the worlds.
Yes,
that alone like caused people to go like, why don't we have a game with Sparta in it? Like, why don't we have a Sparta game? Period. Or why hasn't Sparta been in any of the Devil May Cry games? Because he's not dead. I think he at one point he gave up his powers, right?
He did. He gave up his powers,
and he wanted to be human.
Yeah, his powers were separated into the Force Edge, the Rebellion, and the Yamato.
There you go.
And then he also used the perfect amulet, split it, and to seal the demon world away from the human world, and split that in half and gave them to his boys.
So all of his power was split in these artifacts.
Yes, and Virgil and Dante have 2 out of the 5.
But did they ever say what happened to him?
No,
they never explained.
Yeah,
never explain that.
they say that he either went missing or he was captured, but they never
Mhm.
said that they never officially call him dead.
See,
No.
Yeah.
what I want to see is if they will answer that question because this is an alternate, universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to
Well-
see
That'd
if
be
they
cool to
answer
have
that
that, yeah.
question.
Well,
I
They do-
don't know if that's gonna happen in the games, and this is why. Because at the end of Devil May Cry 5, Dante and Virgil locked themselves in the demon realm. So as of now, they are fighting back. They are fighting all the demons in the demon realm, and they have
Mhm.
left the world to Nero. So the next logical step
Mhm.
for the story would be another Nero game, but
Mhm.
maybe Nero can find Sparta.
That's true. Let's make it
The
so.
way they connected.
Let's
Mhm.
put
Grandfather.
it like this.
Okay.
Since
'Cause
Sparta is
that's his
probably one.
granddaddy.
It is. Let's put it this way: since Sparta is probably the only demon that can willingly go between the human and the demon world, it would make sense that since Nero can't cross over to the demon world himself to find his grandfather, so he can help him with that.
Yeah.
And like
So-
Omar said, the fans have been clamoring for a Sparta game or just Sparta to be shown in the games since the franchise aired, since the franchise came to life.
If I was Capcom, this is how I would do it. I would make it like the first two acts where you're Nero, and then the
Exactly.
third act, like at least half of the third act, you're Sparta. At the end of Act 2, you would find Sparta, and then maybe you could play as Sparta to get his gear back, or find some demonic tools so that way he can assimilate his power again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finish the game as Nero because he's going to be the main character.
Yeah, he's the main character now.
The only time that you ever actually get to play as Sparta, quote unquote, is as a special skin in Devil May Cry 3.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean,
But-
I think that would be cool.
Yes.
Not just to flesh out the characters, but to even the gamers would be like probably love that. Like to
Yeah.
get to see Sparta in the
Yes.
screen.
Although I would like to see how Sparta looked at all the humans and was like, that one's going to have my babies.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the why. Like, what drew him to
That's why I wanted to see
probably
that
mom-
backstory.
Probably could have been the same as Dracula and Lisa.
right? I was actually
Yeah.
thinking that too. Is like a tale and Beast and Belle.
We can even take it to the scientific thing. It was something molecular on a DNA level that he
Probably.
knew
There's
that
that.
could combine with,
There's something about her blood that could
Yeah.
mix well with his.
Yes.
Or attracted to him because you know how they can smell that
Yeah.
and whatnot.
like a what was the conduit to,
I mean, I think it was like he saw her, he liked her, they banged and they had boys. Because I mean, there's not a lot known about their life together
Mhm.
because Sparta was not around when the boys were growing up.
No, I mean it's not like he let them high and dry either.
No, he
basically
didn't.
gave them a mansion, and they
Yes.
grew up with basically high society.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
for
They
sure.
did.
Yeah. And see,
at
I
least
want to know how
well-educated.
they got there. I want
Exactly,
to know
yeah.
the steps, it took to
But again, you also got to remember that Sparta's ancient. He's over
Yes.
2,000 years old, so
Yes.
he
Mhm.
gained all that money from like doing
Oh,
what
yeah.
Dante
He
does.
had
devil
time
hunting.
to
And that's why a
To
prequel
establish
for him would be great because we
Yes.
get to see all that what he did
Mhm.
before he met his wife
Ava.
Ava.
Mhm.
And then we get to, and then on top of that, we get to just let's say if they do make a Sparta game, we're gonna be able to see how he is in action, because the guy was insanely powerful.
Yes.
Like
I would
he
like to
makes
see that.
Dante and Virgil look like two little peas.
I would like to see his warrior skills.
Well, and
Mhm.
when they were younger, yes, but at this point, Dante and Virgil are far stronger than their father because they reach a new form with their power with the Sin Devil Trigger.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Mhm.
But keep in mind, it takes two of them to defeat one guy that he defeated by himself. I
Yeah.
forget who it was.
Mundus.
Mundus.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
It's Mundus,
Yeah.
the main bad guy.
But it took two of them to beat him, and he beat him on his own.
Well, he didn't beat him. He sealed him. Mundus has always been far more powerful. So, like, yeah, Dante and Virgil, they're like
He
super
still beat him
OP.
enough to imprison him, though. That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to say.
That's true.
The thing is, though, with what you call it, with Sparta is that he already had his own demon sword named after himself, and that's usually like their final weapon. That's why in Devil May Cry 5, Dante ends up getting his Sin Double Trigger unlocked by unlocking the demon sword Dante.
Yes.
That's true,
Virgil only got his Sin Double Trigger because he ate the fruit of the Qliphoth.
Okay.
Because his he doesn't have a demon sword, Virgil. He still has Yamato.
Yeah, he still has Yamato.
Yeah, but
maybe if they make a game like a standalone game for Virgil, maybe he could get his demon sword, Virgil, or maybe
a standalone Virgil game would be good too.
Yeah, like his
instead of all these fucking DLCs.
I know, right?
No, like he needs like his own story to help explain like when he first fought against Mundus and lost and got brainwashed, and then maybe see a reverse perspective how him as Nello Angelo was fighting against Dante.
Exactly, yeah.
And then what he was doing after he was defeated and freed from Mundus' spell. Like why he was so weak at the start of Devil May Cry 5.
Exactly. But I mean, it's funny because he's basically he gets the Vegeta treatment, you know. He's always the secondary, even though he's more popular than Dante.
He is more popular than Dante.
What were we gonna say, Jen?
It's like another thing that I want to see for the series is what is these events gonna do to Lady guarding Bane?
You think she's I think she's gonna kill Bane
in Darkcom, you know?
I really think she's gonna kill Bane.
Well, I think she will be presented with the opportunity, but then step away so that it could act as like her redemption for all the death that she's already dealt.
No, I say she shoots him with a rocket. I say she does it in the style. I say she does it in the style of True Lies when they shoot the guy in the plane and they shoot him into the other helicopter. I hope they do something like that.
Oh my god!
You're fired.
You're fired. Or basically, she says like, "I quit. Take this job and shove it," and then she shoves the rocket up his ass.
But I want to see like what this is gonna do to her perceptive about demons.
Well, I mean, episode 4 already kind of skewed her perception because she saw that, these are demons, but they're not out there to destroy or kill people.
So, like knowing that it's not as black as white as she thought, where does that leave her?
Yeah, and if she finds out that that Baines ordered the slaughter of those people that she promised to save, what's that gonna do to her?
You know, part of me thinks that Baines is actually a demon himself.
I was thinking that too, because the fact that he knows so much about it, but then again, he could also like you said, he's a zealot, so those people will read about that stuff, you know.
Or perfect connection. He's from Fortuna.
That makes sense. If he's from Fortuna?
Devil May Cry 4 setting.
Yeah.
Right.
If he's related to that one guy that Dante kills.
I mean the Grand Priest?
Yeah.
That one makes sense.
Like
he's a former soldier of the sword, or Order of the Sword.
That's true. That would make sense too. You know what? We're gonna man, it's gonna suck that
it's gonna be funny as shit. You know, it's gonna be funny as shit is if we're making all this speculation and then in season 2 it's revealed that it's not really Dante, it's been Nero the whole time because it's Johnny Young Block voicing Dante.
Oh yeah, that's something we never addressed.
That's true, but I feel like not a lot of people really. Well, actually, the gamer fans were kind of on the fence about that.
Yeah,
but I think he did a great job.
He did.
Well, I don't know why people hate on Nero so much. Yeah, he was a whiny little shithead at the beginning of 4, but he grows up at the end of the game, and in 5, he's becoming more like Dante. He's like, yeah, I'm a badass. He just needs to work on his cool factor
until he's dead weight.
Yeah, but like I like the character. He grew up and he moved in a positive direction. Like people were just like, fuck this guy.
I don't know why, but he always kind of gave me John Connor vibes, where he's supposed like it's gonna fall on him eventually, but he's still a whiny little punk.
He's not.
No, but I mean, I agree with you, Matt. He does grow up. But plus, his snarky attitude is so reminiscent to Dante. It's hard not to like him, especially in 4 where he's being captured and Dante's like, "Hey kid, do something," and then he flips him off as he's
Oh,
going
yeah.
down.
Yeah. They're like this.
Dude,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and then
He's that sword
freaking
for sure. You're ever gonna use it?
yeah, he twists the sword. It's like, what are you ever gonna use that
Mocks
for?
his freaking it's freaking throttle.
His throttle for his sword. What was that? Red Queen, right? That
Red
was
Queen,
Red
yeah.
Queen.
Yes.
Mhm. But I like the fact when they finally Virgil and him finally meet, and it's like one of those scenes where you're like, somebody say something. But I
No,
mean, yeah, I mean, what do you know? Do we know when the next season is coming out, Omar?
no, but they did. They already greenlit that season 2 is coming out.
Oh yeah, they greenlit it as soon as the first season
Yes.
dropped, which is crazy.
Yep.
Just goes to show you that.
But all right. Here's the thing: clips of this, like very, very, very minor leaks, were released for season 2. Have already been released in the music video of Afterlife.
Oh, that's
So
true.
that's where you see like an older looking Dante with longer
Uh-huh.
hair and like a different outfit, something more reminiscent to his Devil May Cry 1 attire. I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet, but I saw like the stills online or anything like that.
That's true. For sure, for sure. One thing I would like to see though is we need to see a backstory to Bane's. I would like to see that. So that'll definitely be cool.
Mhm.
I mean, it sucks that Conroy, I mean, I'm sorry,
Kevin
Kevin isn't
Conroy.
gonna be able to voice him, but hopefully they can get somebody reminiscent to how he's able to do it.
There's a lot of good voice actors out there who could imitate his voice. So that
Oh yeah, there are a
they
bunch
also
of
did
them.
have someone, I think it was Ian's something, because they made him do additional voices or additional dialogue for Bane's character after Conroy passed.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Okay.
But either way,
Yeah.
great show, folks. Check it out on Netflix if you've been listening to us this entire time, which has been a minute.
Oh yeah.
It's been 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta hurry
Let
up.
us.
I got
That should tell you just how good this show is. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Anybody got any final thoughts?
If anyone is gonna start the game franchise, I do recommend starting with Devil May Cry 3. It is the prequel. It's easily accessible in modern consoles.
It really is, yeah.
I still say playing it on the Switch is the most definitive way of playing it, because you get to experience the character of Dante at his fullest, with being able to access all his weapons and styles,
Mm-hmm.
with like the difficulty of how the original games on the PS2 were.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it tells a really great story based between Dante, Lady, and Virgil. So you get to see a lot, like then a lot of your questions will probably be answered on that game alone. Like you see their character personalities, you see how they grow. But again, it is the prequel to the franchise, and it's also like where the franchise itself finds its footing in terms of gameplay, style, aesthetic, music, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree and disagree with Omar. I just think for story wise, yeah, play it first, but gameplay wise, play the first two, because like it's happened to me and plenty of other gamers where you play something, you're like, wow, these mechanics are great, and then you go back to something else, and it's a chore to play it because of how bad the controls are.
That's what I was telling Jen earlier. Like if you're gonna play with the series, technically you could skip 1 and 2 and to avoid all the sluggish gameplay. We could go online and watch like walkthroughs and playthroughs and like let's plays to get the full story.
True.
But in order to get like the full, get a concept of the grasp of what Devil May Cry makes Devil May Cry, you start with 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also, like I say, you could do yourself a disservice. The first game is great for the time.
Exactly.
But
easy dialogue and all.
Yeah, but the mechanics, like they're just well polished in 3. So that's why like I agree with you, Omar, but also I disagree. Like from a mechanical standpoint, play Devil May Cry 1. And keep in mind that Devil May Cry 3, when you reach it, it's the prequel. But my final thoughts are it's a really fun and entertaining anime, and it doesn't take itself too seriously, so you should enjoy it. Don't compare it directly to the game because it has its own flair to it.
Speaking of that, what's something you guys would say to the gamers who dislike the game? I mean, sorry, the anime because of the game.
That they're being too much of a purist, and these games are just like the games. The show is all about over the top fun and style.
Okay.
Exactly.
What
Not
about
to
you,
mention
Omar?
that with games, you're constrained to certain things, certain aspects of like one facet of the full society or like
Mm-hmm.
the full franchise. This the animated series can give you a different perspective of maybe what the game developers had in their head, but they can't fully transition it into gameplay because of like hardware limitations or technology limitations. Whereas in the
True.
animated series, they could go all out. All they had to worry about is really just the animators and the budget.
Mm-hmm.
But like Matt said, don't be a purist when it comes to experiencing a different media form of one of your favorite franchises. Accept it. Let the people who are not and known, like who don't know the franchise, let them enjoy this, and hopefully it brings you more people into the fan base. Because
Mm-hmm.
if we have a stronger fan base, then that means that we're going to get Devil May Cry 6 a lot sooner than 10 years. We're probably going to get DMC Devil May Cry 2. We'll probably get another like set of freaking manga and books, because I would like more books of Devil May Cry.
True.
Like we could get even spin-offs and side stories. With Devil May Cry, they could go the full freaking John Wick route.
Mm-hmm.
The story starts off with Dante, just like the story starts off with John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many characters and there's a world involved in it that they can't fully explore it just from the perspective of this one character or from this one facet. That's why we had different movies. That's why we had the TV show, The Continental. That's why we're having different focus characters in these movies for John Wick. We could do the same with Devil May Cry. It doesn't always have to focus on Dante. Yes, he's the face of the franchise, but he's not the only character. He's not Samus and Metroid.
Exactly.
You have multiple characters, and just like in like going back to another Starship or like flagship series, Mario. Do we only have games of Mario?
Nope.
We got Wario.
Nope.
Yeah,
Luigi's
we got Wario,
Mansion,
we got
Wario.
Luigi, we got Yoshi games, we got Peach games. I'm pretty sure we have a Toad game in there somewhere.
Yeah, Toad's Treasure Tracker.
Yeah, see, there you go. Let's have different perspectives from the different characters to help enrich in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I would play a game about Lady. You get to see her time in Darkrom.
Yeah, exactly. Like or
rising the ranks.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be an interesting.
And not even just a game based on her character in the anime series. I want to see like a full-on game that has her as the main character and Trish again, like, and with Virgil. Maybe
I'll play as Trish.
I think we all would.
And then maybe and then maybe just introduce new characters that you could probably play on the side, because one of the things about is that you were always able to play as a different character after you beat the main story, the main campaign with Dante.
Yeah, I mean, you can even shine light on some of the lesser characters, like Alice, not Alice. What's her name? Lucia.
Yeah, you get to play as her in Devil May Cry 2 along with Trish. And you play as Trish in Devil May Cry 1. You play as Lady and Trish in Devil May Cry 3.
But I'm saying 4. You can get more. You can give them like something like either a backstory game or a mini series about her. You can do a lot. Because Lucia's story is actually a pretty tragic one. Like if you flesh it out, but
that's really all I had to say. Just don't be a gatekeeper. Don't be a purist.
Yeah, for
let
real.
Let other people experience it in a way that you want other people to experience this franchise. Because my introduction to Devil May Cry was not with Devil May Cry 1. It was with 3. Nice. But I played 1 and 2 because I got the PlayStation 2 triple pack. I have the HD.
That's how I was introduced to that. Actually, I think it was you who let me borrow that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you let me borrow that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I had the HD collection on the PS3. I had the HD collection on the PS4. I had Devil May Cry 3 on my Switch.
I forgot. I forgot it was you who let me borrow those.
Yeah.
Have I been playing Devil May Cry longer than Omar? Because my introduction was DMC 1.
Yeah,
Matt, this came out.
Matt, I remember in high school you were talking to me about Dante and Dante's character in Devil May Cry 2, how he would flip the coin to make certain decisions and whatnot, and how you were you were so excited about how the fact that the entire time it was a double-headed coin. So all his flips were always he was going to do the good thing no matter what.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he was going to help no matter what.
He was the reverse Two-Face.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Basically, yeah. Nice.
Anyway,
But
yeah, we got to
They-
wrap this up because I got to go.
yeah, there you have it, folks. I mean, like, if a franchise can get these two riled up like that, you know that the show itself, in and itself, is good. So definitely check it out. Let us know what you think about it in the comments. Are you a fan of the games, or have you started playing the games because of the show? What do you think of the games if you started playing them? Comment below. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're on Spotify. Please do the same.
And remember, it's okay to go in as a blank slate. I did.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Not going to hold it against you.
yeah,
And
definitely.
and the show does a great job of introducing people
And explaining
to who
characters. Yeah.
these characters are.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
But all right, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. As always, we will talk to you next time. Everybody say bye bye.
Goodbye.
Jackpot.
Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Adieu.